Good morning, dear students. Welcome to your another session of your online classes. Children, we started with a new lesson, tissue. So, children, in my previous lesson, I introduced a very small concept about the tissue, and children, we studied about the difference between unicellular organism and multicellular organism, and we also studied that what are the difference between the plants and the animals. So children, we started with the plant tissue. So let us continue with our plant tissue. Now, children, plants, they are autotrophic in nature. Second, they are immovable, means throughout their lifetime they remain in one place. Third is that they have unlimited growth, means they keep on growing throughout their lifetime. And the next is at any point of time they can repair their damaged part. Okay. Now, when we study all this typical behavior of plants, we understand that plants are made up of different type of plant tissues. So children, the plant tissues can be very broadly divided into two types. First are meristematic tissue and second is permanent tissue. Now, in case of plants, children, there are certain cells which keep on dividing throughout their lifetime, while some tissues are there which do not divide. So, first basis of classification of plant tissues are dividing tissues and non-dividing tissues. So, meristematic tissues are the dividing cell tissues, and those tissues that do not divide, they are called as permanent tissues. Now, let us understand how are meristematic tissues formed and how are permanent tissues formed. When they do not divide, then how are they formed? So, children, meristematic tissues, they are the tissues in the plants which keep on dividing throughout their lifetime. And in this way, continuously there is a formation of new cells and new tissues. These new cells and the new tissues, they only undergo a process which is known as differentiation, and these meristematic tissues only form the permanent tissues. Permanent tissues are not formed something separately, but they actually the newly formed meristematic tissue, they undergo a process, and these tissues are called as permanent tissue. So children, today I will be talking again in detail about the meristematic tissue. Though I had taken this topic yesterday, but still I want to take it again since it's a new concept for you. So I hope you have understood meristematic tissues are the tissues which are dividing tissue. Throughout their lifetime they are divided, they keep on dividing and they help in the formation of new cells. Now, children, when a plant grows, it doesn't just grow in the lengthwise, है ना? It doesn't just grow lengthwise, but its thickness also increases, and at the same time, the bulk of the leaves, branches, and fruit also increases. So, based on the location, meristematic tissues are of three types: apical meristematic tissue, lateral meristematic tissue, and intercalary meristematic tissue. Permanent tissue, depending on their structural behavior, they are of two types: simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Children, about permanent tissue, I'll take tomorrow, and let us again begin with the meristematic tissue. So, children, based on the location where they are located, okay, meristematic tissues are of three types: apical meristematic tissue, lateral meristematic tissue, and intercalary meristematic tissue. Now look at this piece of a plant. Now all the green color, dark green color, wherever you can see, they that represent meristematic tissue in this particular diagram. So children, at the tip of the plant, you can see a dark band, okay, and here are apical meristematic tissue. These tissues, apical meristematic tissue, they are present in two places: at the root tip and the shoot tip. Root tip means at the tip of the roots, and shoot tip means at the top of all stem, branches, everything. Okay, and apical meristematic tissue, they are responsible for increase in the length of the plant. Now, intercalary meristematic tissue, children. Intercalary meristematic tissues, they are present at the nodes. Where they are present? They are present at the nodes. So, children, when a tree or a plant grows, only the stem doesn't grow, but at the same time, the branches also grow, the leaves also grow. Okay, and lateral meristematic tissue. Lateral meristematic tissue, children, they are present in the stem and the branches, and they are responsible for the thickness of the branches and thickness of the stem. Okay, understood? Again I am repeating. Based on the location, meristematic tissues are of three types: apical meristematic tissue, intercalary meristematic tissue, and lateral meristematic tissue. Apical meristematic tissue, they are present at the root tip and the shoot tip. Okay, intercalary meristematic tissue, they are present at the nodes, and lateral meristematic tissue, they are present in the sides of the stem and the branches, and they are responsible for the thickness of the plant. Now, apical meristematic tissue. Where they are present, children? They are present at the tip of root and tip of the shoot. Shoot means upper part of the plant. Root means the lower part of the plant, which is under the soil. Okay. So where they are present? They are present at the root tip and the shoot tip. Okay. Second, they are responsible for increase in the length of the root as well as the shoot. Third, they help in cellular enlargement. They are responsible for increase in the size of the cell, and they help in the growth of stem, which is above the ground, and they also help in increasing the growth of the root, which is below the ground. Intercalary meristematic tissue. Intercalary meristematic tissue, they are present at the internodes, or they are present at the base of the leaf. Intercalary meristematic children, they are responsible for increasing in the length of internode. Now, you must be thinking, what are these nodes? Okay, children, you have seen a sugarcane plant. Now, when you look at a sugarcane plant, you will find that certain lines are there. Okay, uh, from where it is difficult for us to bite the sugarcane. Okay, so that part of, they can be very easily seen in monocotyledon plants, but they are present in all the different type of plants. So intercalary meristematic tissue, they are responsible for increasing in the length of the internodes. Okay, nodes are the points that are present on the stem and branches, which are responsible for formation of new flower, leaf, or bunch. Okay, now lateral meristematic tissue, where they are present, children? They are present in the side of the plant. Okay, and they are responsible for increasing the thickness of the plant. If you have seen any tree like banyan tree, mango tree, neem tree, you will find that they are very long, but at the same time they are very thick. And thickness doesn't mean only the stem, the branches and each and every part of the stem of that particular plant is thick. Okay, and children, this meristematic, lateral meristematic tissue, they are responsible for the formation of cambium, vascular cambium. Now, what are these two words, vascular cambium and cork cambium, that I'll take in my coming up topic. But in short, you can understand that they are responsible for the formation of xylem and phloem, and they are responsible for the formation of outermost layer of the trees, which we call as bark. Again, to revise you children, meristematic tissue, based on their location, they are of three types: apical meristematic tissue, intercalary meristematic tissue, and the lateral meristematic tissue. The first picture shows you the presence of shoot apical meristematic tissue and root apical meristematic tissue. Now, second children, you can see the presence of intercalary meristematic tissue at the base of the leaf or at the nodes. Okay, and there, and intercalary, you can see here this pink coloring. Okay, they are responsible for the formation of new xylem and phloem, and they are also responsible for the formation of cork, or bark, we call it in English. Okay, so I hope children you have understood about the meristematic tissue. Now let us go to the just a comparative study of the apical meristematic tissue, lateral and the intercalary meristematic tissue, where they are located. Apical on the root tip and the shoot tip, lateral on the sides of stem and the root. Okay, intercalary they are present at the base of the nodes and the base of leaf and the branches. Functions of apical is help to increase the length of the plant. Next is their lateral is responsible for increase in the thickness or the girth of the plant, and intercalary they are responsible for the formation of new stem branches and the leaf and the new bud. Now, children, let us understand about the permanent tissue. Now, permanent tissue. First of all, how when permanent tissues are those tissue which do not divide. The name itself says that they do not divide. So, when they do not divide, how are they formed? They are formed from the meristematic tissue only. Meristematic tissue they undergo a process which is known as differentiation, and permanent tissues are formed. Okay, and children, plant tissues. Okay, we are studying now about the permanent tissue. Now, when we study about permanent tissue, we find that certain permanent tissue they have got a simple structure, while some of them have got complex structure. So, those permanent tissue which have got simple structure we call them as simple permanent tissue, while the one which have got little bit complex they are called as complex permanent tissue. Okay, again I am repeating, plant tissue based on dividing and non-dividing. Those which divide they are called as meristematic tissue. Based on the location of meristematic tissues are of three types: apical, lateral and intercalary. Permanent tissues are the tissue which are formed from the meristematic tissue. Okay, and based on their structure, permanent tissues are of two types. If the structure is simple, then they are called as simple permanent tissue. If their structure are complex, then they are called as complex permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue, children, when we study about them, okay, and when we study about their location and function, we understand that simple permanent tissues are again of how many types? Four types. Okay, epidermis, parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. While the complex permanent tissue they are only of two types, xylem and the phloem. Permanent tissue based on their structure, simple permanent tissue and complex. Okay, simple permanent tissues are of four types: epidermis, parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Let us study about the characteristic of permanent tissue. Okay, these first of all, these tissue they do not have the power of division. The cells are very well developed and they are properly shaped. The cell wall is comparatively thicker than that of the meristematic tissue. The nucleus of the cell are bigger and cytoplasm are dense. Okay. Usually there are vacuoles present and there are intercellular present spaces present in them. They may be present or they may not be present. So children, this is all. This is all about today's topic. Thank you and take care of yourself.